Today, we're gonna read the thought piece from Kotaku, how the NPC meme tries to dehumanize SJWs, written by Cecilia Di Anastasio, and it's about NPC memes, the non-playable character memes. Memes that I think are pretty hilarious. This piece is basically a metaphorical finger-wagging of jokes and humor. As if to say, hey, edgelords, who do you think you are, making jokes at the expense of other people's stupidity and refusal to think? This is wrong! As the title states, a big problem with the NPC meme is that it dehumanizes people, likening them to meaningless characters who are incapable of thinking, and just say the same thing over and over. Aren't there a lot of insults that fit this scope, though? For instance, if you call someone a stupid ape, or a fat pig, or a deceptive snake. Insults are fine so long as they don't dehumanize people, apparently. Or what about compliments? If you call someone a shark, or refer to a sexy individual as a fox, or say that someone is razor sharp or tough as nails, well, apparently those are not compliments at all, because they're dehumanizing. Of course, this is just more regressive trash that's making an attempt to shame people for the crime of making memes. Making jokes. Typical SJW nonsense. So the article begins, from time to time, and especially if you're a fan of science fiction, you may have had the thought that nobody around you is actually real. The sentiment has taken root in the anti-progressive parts of the internet as a dehumanizing meme, and it borrows some familiar gaming terminology. About a month ago, a meme along those lines took root on 4chan and among anti-progressive online communities. It's called the NPC meme, and it goes like this. Out there in the world, there are literal NPCs, the term for non-playable characters in video games, who have no internality whatsoever. There are some giveaways, of course. They spit out canned lines, "Good weather today, huh?" and flock to normie trends. Are Ugg boots still a thing? And for the most part, share the same uncritical worldview. The classic melancholy meme Wojak, a sad man crudely drawn in Microsoft Paint, has now received the NPC treatment with NPC Wojak. Part crackpot social theory and part elementary school insult, the NPC meme originated from a deeply comical medley of bogus physics and stupid religion found on the messaging board 4chan. Originally posted in 2016, it resurfaced last month. I have a theory that there are only a fixed quantity of souls on planet Earth that cycle continuously through reincarnation, a 4chan poster wrote. However, since the human growth rate is so severe, the soulless extra walking flesh piles around us are NPCs, or ultimate normal fags, who autonomously follow groupthink and social trends in order to appear convincingly human. NPCs aren't even worthy of a classic wake up sheeple. They can't. Okay, so this is part crackpot social theory and part elementary school insult?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Nah, I'm gonna go with full 100% insult, because one of two things is true about the individual who published this scientific theory on 4chan. One, they truly believe in the theory, which makes them insane, in which case we can dismiss them out of hand, as the writer refers to, as a crackpot social theory. But even in this case, we would have to assume that the people who make and share NPC memes outside of 4chan are also believers in this scientific theory, which, needless to say, I have a hard time accepting. If anyone wants to draft up a research paper to prove me otherwise, then I'm all eyes and ears. But I'm gonna go with the second possibility. The possibility that the person who came up with this scientific theory is just being silly. Just goofing around.
It was just a goof.
I mean, this is fucking 4chan we're talking about here. Again with the lack of self-awareness. This person is taking a joke so seriously that they're citing a theory that was posted on 4chan to suggest that the people who make fun of SJWs honestly believe that SJWs are just Sims waltzing around in real life. Does this person not understand how jokes work? How humor works?
I believe you can joke about anything. It all depends on how you construct the joke. What the exaggeration is.
The point of this particular joke, the NPC meme, is to undermine stupid people's intelligence so hard as to compare them to an unthinking robot. It's literally truth plus exaggeration. People are stupid and refuse to think. That's true. These same people are just like those characters in RPGs that say the same stupid shit over and over. That's the exaggeration. Nobody seriously believes in this crackpot social theory that was posted on 4chan. The writer goes on to say, here's where things get interesting. Around the time a lot of us were assigned to read The Catcher in the Rye in middle school, it was normal to have edgelord thoughts about phonies or being one of the few who is capital A, awake. The NPC meme takes things a step further into a political zone where mass outcry against, say, serial harassers, racial injustice, or Trumpian ideas is dismissed as not just inherently uncritical, but prima facie evidence of lack of human consciousness. NPCs, the poster continued, say the same shit, including fourth ball and the new Adele song, oh my god you guys, and just be yourself. The poster also cites a political example, Trump is Hitler, adding, if you get into a discussion with them, it's always the same buzzwords and hackneyed arguments. They're the kind of people who make a show of discomfort when you break the status quo, like breaking the normie barrier to invoke a real discussion. It's like in a video game when you accidentally talk to somebody twice and they give you the exact same lines, word for word, once more. Essentially, some large portion of society, normies, pop culture fanatics, Trump haters, among others, who speak in cliches are, in fact, NPCs with no internality, agency, or capacity for critical thought. Like townies in Pokemon idly parked outside the same house day and night, constantly read with the same contrived one-liners. These, in real life NPCs, aren't thinking for themselves. They can't. Yes, because again, this describes many people who go apeshit about politics on social media. This is one of the common and major criticisms and downsides of social media, in that it gives literally anyone a platform. What this means is that any idiot, from flat earthers to religious zealots to racists to communists to social justice warriors to anti-vaxxers and so on, can share their ignorant thoughts with anyone else in the world that's on the same platform. This is true about politics. Most people are wrong, but have the impression that they're woke or red-pilled, and therefore they need to enlighten anyone they can reach. But as with NPCs, whenever you try to correct them, or challenge them, or provide evidence to suggest that they've made an error, well, then they turn into slogan machines. And this is not exclusive to the left. I've seen many people point out that Charlie Kirk's Twitter timeline is merely a collection of dumb conservative bumper stickers. Nevertheless, when an NPC gets their stupid catchphrases challenged, when the empty slogans stop working, well, then the NPC often turns into a hysterical mess because they're exposed for the unthinking automatons that they are, and simply refuse to accept new information or a new way of looking at things. Think about how many times the wage gap has been debunked, and yet there are probably still millions of people who cry about it even after seeing that the statistic is misleading. No matter how many times you show an NPC the truth, they're still gonna parrot the wage gap statistic a few months later. For me, it's not so much that NPCs are incapable of thinking, because I think that everyone is capable of thinking. but rather it's their refusal to think. And people who refuse to think deserve whatever mockery comes their way, because everyone should be expected to think for themselves. Imagine if a man wanted to stick his penis into a pencil sharpener because he watched a Now This video that said that putting your penis in a pencil sharpener would make it grow bigger. Now imagine that you correct the man. You inform him that no, if you stick your penis in the pencil sharpener, then it will just slice off pieces of your skin. And this would not only be very painful, given that the penis is a sensitive part of the male body, but it would also make his penis smaller. Then you demonstrate this by putting a pencil in the pencil sharpener to show that the pencil is clearly smaller after being sliced and shaved up in the machine. Well, if the man still sticks his penis in the pencil sharpener, then I think you're free to laugh at him and mock him all you want. At a certain point, that's on him. Now here's where things get really good. The writer goes on to say, the 2-year-old 4chan post, despite its laughable premise, fueled a meme last month that has some scary implications. How to tell when someone is an NPC, wrote anti-sjw alt-right journalist Ian Miles Chung on Twitter last month. Update 8:15 p.m. Chung returned a request for comment to note that he does not consider himself to be alt-right. So the writer of this piece throws out the alt-right adjective on Ian Miles Chung. Why? It's almost as if she just carelessly threw out a negative label to describe someone she disagrees with, only to issue a half-assed correction. Seriously, did she even bother to look Ian up? I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't appreciate it if someone carelessly published an article and described me as a racist. Alt-right is a serious charge and a description that genuine alt-righters don't run and hide from. Did this journalist look up Ian Miles Chung to see if he actually is alt-right? Did they find any evidence of Ian advocating for a white ethno-state?
No, of course not.
It's almost as if this journalist just carelessly throws out terms, slogans, and catchphrases without looking into them first to see if they're true. Oh well, I guess these days you can just insert a disingenuous correction if you get called out and still keep your job. The writer goes on to say, logic and facts in an argument do nothing to change their mind and only cause them to repeat themselves ad infinitum, like a limited dialogue script that loops on itself in a video game. In the last month, Chung has referred to several people as NPCs. An individual who insisted that the OK hand symbol, which has been misconstrued as a white supremacy symbol, is racist and that using it is fireable. Someone who might read bell hooks in college to impress a girl in gender studies. People who misuse the word trauma to refer to any mildly uncomfortable experience. And, ironically, a former New Yorker fact-checker who claimed on Twitter that the vast majority of men simply do not consider women to be full human beings. In some corners of the internet, NPC is beginning to replace the term SJW. And I think that this might be a mistake. I think that the terms should be separate. An NPC can describe anyone of any political leaning who refuses to think and simply regurgitates whatever they're spoon-fed from their ideological overlords. Whereas when I think SJW, I think of left-leaning emotionalists who engage in some form of identity politics, seeking to destroy the good for being the good in the name of some arbitrary greater good. Writer goes on to say, according to ex-World of Warcraft dev Mark Kern, NPCs have the following qualities: incapable of independent thought, wants everything done for them, constantly needing coddling. He published this checklist after another developer accused him of being a right-wing hack. The tweet evidently was meant to compare so-called SJWs to these NPCs. It's now a common refrain on Reddit, with posts on the Donald saying, "The left is just a meme of lunacy come to life. They're just NPCs in the game of life," or in reference to economic experts widely condemning tariffs, "Here we are with one of the best economies in US history. Only brainwashed NPCs believe what experts say when those claims are contradicted by reality." And to be fair, they'd be wrong to support tariffs, although the statement again shows that the writer appeals to authority by relying on experts to win an argument. Again, typical NPC nonsense. The writer continues, what makes this marginal, stale meme built on edgelord logic worth half a thought is what the idea of an NPC speaks to. NPCs have no agency. NPCs don't think for themselves, NPCs don't perceive, process, or understand. NPCs arrive at the same worldview not because it's authentic to their experiences, but automatically. As a descriptor, it suggests that those to whom it applies aren't even human, but are rather functionally robots or clusters of computer code. That this has resonated as widely as it has is funny, but is also a little scary. Oh no, guys, jokes! Woo! It's one thing to claim that a person's strongly held views are informed by nothing at all, but entirely another to imply that they're completely on autopilot. That is dehumanization. A way of reconceiving your enemies as objects, pawns, straw men, tools. At best, dismissing large swaths of people you disagree with this way betrays a lack of empathy for people whose experiences differ from yours. Okay, why should people have empathy for those who refuse to think or refuse to be corrected? If someone gets upset with me when I correct them or refuse to listen to facts and logic, then mockery is appropriate because at a certain point, people should be expected to learn and know better. And if people simply rely on regurgitated slogans and catchphrases from the media and politicians and can't back up their political opinions with logic and facts, then they're probably not in a position to enlighten people on social media and are well deserving of mockery. By the way, on a side note, when did the left become a bunch of humor-hating finger-waggers? Bill Maher, Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, Louis Black, George Carlin, Seth MacFarlane all made their careers largely off mocking and lampooning conservatives. Apparently that's okay. But if MAGA hat wearing edgelords want to make fun of progressives, then it's, whoa buddy, how dare you dehumanize people like this? NPCs are entitled to their opinion even if they're wrong and lacking of any logic. Could you imagine Family Guy or Team America or Religulous ever getting made with this sort of mindset?
Absolutely fucking not.
But finally, what I think this piece is hinting at is this notion of subjectivism. That what's true for you may not be true for me, or because I feel something is true, then it must be true. Wrong. Reality is what it is, and some people are just wrong. And if they refuse to accept the truth, then mockery and ridicule is appropriate. Here's a thought: if you don't want to get laughed at and mocked, then correct your thinking and stop being wrong.